Colt Gray was heavily influenced by his father.
Hi lovelies, and welcome back to this channel. If you're new here, my name is Belinda Stronard and here is Ballistic Gist. Don't forget to please subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications so that anytime I upload videos, you will be the first person to be notified. And to my returning subscribers, to those people that share my videos, leave commentaries, and also educate each and every one of us, you guys are the real MVP. So guys, I came across this video on my For You page on TikTok, and I thought to share with you guys where a lot of people are reacting to what actually happened in Georgia, where a 14-year-old, boy decided to pew pew for people, and this got a lot of people reacting. I was just able to put up the stage. I'm just gonna roll it. Please leave me your own thought in the comment section of what you think of this video. Alright lovelies, let's dive into it.
The details coming out about Colt Gray, the 14-year-old school shooter who killed 2 classmates, 2 teachers, and sent 9 others to the hospital last week, is seriously chilling. For starters, it was Colt's second day at Appalachian High School. He was a transfer student, and his first day, the day before the shooting, he asked if he could go see the counselor because he was having anxiety. Another heartbreaking thing we learned, Christina Irami, the 53-year-old math teacher that died, it was her birthday. She had baked herself a cake and brought in pizza so that the kids could help her celebrate her birthday. As far as his home life, Colt was living with his father, Colin, because his mother, Marcy, is a drug addict and has been in nearly constant legal trouble since 2007. So the same month that Colin bought Colt the AR-15, Marcy pleaded guilty to using a license plate to conceal identity, damage property, and trespass. She was sentenced to 5 years in jail, but served 46 days of the sentence. Then in April of 2024, Marcy was arrested for aggravated battery of a 73-year-old woman after she threw her against the wall and tied her up so she couldn't leave her home. Here's a picture of Marcy before addiction took over. An old neighbor who lived next to the family said it was nearly constant screaming and arguing. Marcy would oftentimes lock the kids out of the house, and the neighbor said she found Marcy passed out in her car multiple times. And then in 2019, a Chevy dealership sued Marcy after she bounced a $10,000 check that was supposed to be used as a down payment on a Chevy Suburban. And then, as most of us already know, in 2023, authorities brought Colt and Colin in for questioning after they received an online tip saying Colt was going to shoot up a school. Colt, of course, denies posting these. Colin is asked if there are any weapons in the home, which he says yes, there are. He's a hunter, but that Colt doesn't have access to them. 7 months later, Colin then
There was a mass school shooting today in a high school in Georgia that's like an hour away from Atlanta. CNN reported that at least 4 people had been killed and there were about 30 people with injuries. I don't know how this person got a gun, but it's most likely that they were 18 and they were easily able to access it, or they had one at home and maybe their parents didn't store it correctly. Gun violence is so preventable, and no one is saying that guns are inherently bad, but I don't understand why we as a country have not found a way to fix these issues. We need to increase age limits. We need more intense background checks. We need to make sure that we're storing guns correctly and safely so that children or people dealing with hard times don't get them. It shouldn't be a political thing. It should be about life or death, about protecting people.
So even though the parents knew that he was writing on Discord what he wanted to do at this school, they didn't. Even though Marcy Gray had to flee Colin Gray because of AB. And then now we have the grandfather saying that he feels like Colt Gray was heavily influenced by his father, Colin Gray. He said there's no doubt in his mind that he feels like he was influenced by his father because of all the toxicity that was happening in that house. And that Colin Gray yelled at this boy every day, all day. I just wanted to do my due diligence, and I followed up on what this comment said. Underneath this comment, somebody said that Colt Gray was only going to this school for 2 days. Marcy Gray is saying that she received a notification from a counselor saying that she received an email from a teacher. Why nobody made any attempts to go pull him from the school, I don't know. Per the reports, even though Marcy Gray called to warn, from my understanding, Marcy Gray wasn't living with Colin Gray. He had Colt. Apparently, I don't know the administration or the teachers. I don't think it really specified who. But once they received the notification about Colt Gray's threats, they went throughout the school to find him. But it was a mix-up with a student with a name that's similar to his. By the time they realized they had the wrong student, he was already shooting. By that time, Marcy had received a text from her son saying that he was sorry. They failed their son. They did not put the best interest of their son above their own needs, because I'm seeing that Marcy was on drugs. Father was just a trick. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn about none of that. Colts do not get any sympathy from me. The only people that get sympathy and empathy for me is the parents of those students and the loved ones of those teachers. Because whatever the Grays had going on, it had nothing to do with it. I'm flabbergasted that people don't understand that sentence. Usually people don't understand it until it's them. Sitting up here talking like Colt Gray was 6 years old. He was 14 years.
We are only a few weeks into the school year and a school shooting has been reported at Appalachia High School in Winder, Georgia. Police are calling this a large-scale tragedy, and they currently have the suspect in custody, according to some early reports. Winder, Georgia is about 100 miles outside of Atlanta. This is something that is so unfortunate because American parents grapple with this every single school year. It's not a question of if there's a school shooting. It's a question of when the school shooting is going to take place. It's not a question of if my kids die. It's a question of when my children are shot in school. And this is something that is absolutely unacceptable, but a cycle we go through every single school year. And it has to stop. It's a cycle of something like this happens and it's absolutely scary and terrifying. Then we get thoughts and prayers, but then we stop at thoughts and prayers. There's no policy. There's no action at all whatsoever. It's just, we're going to pray for these people. Our thoughts are with these people. Thoughts and prayers are not stopping bullets from killing our children in school. Thoughts and prayers are not preventing these school shootings from happening. Policy and change is what we need at this point. This story is still developing, and as it does, I will bring you more information.
Not even out of the first week in school, America has a gun problem. We know it, and whenever we see a high school trending on Twitter, we already know what it's about. We already know what it's about, and it's unfortunate.
So I got a lot of new information for you guys in regard to the Georgia school shooter. Let's start with the bond hearing. Both the shooter and his dad appeared before the judge at separate hearings regarding their bond hearings. The shooter went first, and he is charged with 4 counts of felony murder. Now, in the gallery, there were seated some of the victims' families, but he would not look at them. Now, he did have a lawyer present with him. At this time, he did not enter a plea, and he was not granted any bond. Upon conviction, he faces life in prison without parole. Then it was Colin's turn. Colin is charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, 2 counts of second-degree murder, and 8 counts of cruelty to children. Now, I know a lot of people have not understood the 8 counts of cruelty to children. There were 9 people who were shot that did not die, and 8 of those were children. According to the arrest warrant for Colin Gray, he was accused of providing a firearm to the shooter with knowledge that he was a threat to himself and others. Colin also did not enter a plea or get a bond, and he is facing 180 years in prison. Now, here's something new and interesting that's come out. The aunt of the shooter has come out and said basically that her nephew struggled with his mental health and was literally begging for help from everyone around him. She went on to say that the adults around him failed him and expressed in a text message to another family member her concern for this child having access to the weapons that he had access to. It's also now been confirmed that a week before this event took place, the grandmother wrote in a text that her grandson was starting with a therapist tomorrow. Let's talk about something else that's concerning. Apparently, a 15-year-old was arrested on Wednesday, pledging to finish the job started at Appalachia at another school in Jackson County. That threat was made on a bus. There were several witnesses, and that student is currently being held. To stay up to date, hit that follow button.
They shot the first bullet. I went straight down to under my desk to cover myself. Then the shooter had shot like around 4 to 6, I think. And then went to the other classroom. After he went to the other classroom, I stand up quickly, then went to go close the door for couldn't come back.
Like, seriously, lovelies, this is just so heartbreaking that when we actually thought that something like this wouldn't even repeat itself, when we thought that something like this is being looked into and it's not going to actually repeat itself, boom, there is a news circulating. Like, oh my goodness, I just feel so sorry for the people that was affected. I feel sorry for their families. I just hope that they can actually take heart. Like, I don't understand what is really going on. So the information I've actually gathered with all of this whole thing that is going on with the shooting and all of that is that this boy in question had an investigation sometime last year when a threat message was actually, dictated from their own side. Like it was dictated. A text came from, that location stating that something like this might actually happen. That was sometime last year that it actually got a lot of investigations to go on, and they ended up, not doing nothing because there is nothing that they can actually hold. So when they are, got to meet the father was like, okay, I don't allow my kid to go very close to any of my, girls and all of that. It's just a wasted threat. And now, 8 months after this thing was investigated, after the messages, that circulated all over social media, this thing happened. And another thing I'm hearing is that the father to this, 14-year-old, boy actually, got him what he used to actually perform whatsoever thing he performed in school. Like he was the one that got him the arm that he used. He was the one that got it for him on his birthday. Take him for a hunt, and probably that was where he taught him how to, do his first shooting and all of that. And now it also said that the family is having some kind of family problems and problems that has to do with the husband and wife, and it's affecting the kids. Like these people have had so many negative things coming from that family. And another thing is that instead of him, after purchasing such a weapon, instead of him to lock it up, he just left him, and he was able to hold on to that weapon, and this actually gave him the opportunity to do whatsoever he did in that school. Like this is just so heartbreaking. Anyway, lovelies, when I saw this video, I decided to just put it up here for us to actually be aware of what is happening, to be very careful of your surroundings. And this thing that they're talking about, not to give phones to your younger ones or to your little ones, it's just something that I don't see it's happening. These kids need phones to actually make their parents to be aware of their locations and all of that. Anyway, lovelies, leave me your own thought in the comment section of what you think of this video, and please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying, harassment or whatsoever. We're just here for educational and informative purposes. So please subscribe if you're here to do that, like, and I will see you, lovelies, when I upload the next one.